Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Troy with DDM's Realm, and I've got another video here for you. If you haven't already, throw me a subscribe on Facebook and Twitter and become a patron. That patron support really helps me get these videos out for you guys. Alright, so in this video, we have a crash course in the new crafting. So with the most recent mod, I think it's 15 is what they're calling it now, whatever, the Heart of Fire one, where Acquisitions Incorporated appears, is what they did is basically completely reset and revamp the crafting system. Some people love it, some people hate it. I find it particularly frustrating myself, as they didn't actually add a lot of things, actually really any new things that I noticed in the crafting list. It's just basically a lot harder, takes longer, more expensive, more frustrating, and bugs to make the same old crap we used to use. But it doesn't really matter because they changed it, nothing we can do about it, so now we just have to learn to deal with the new system. So, first off, head up to Sergeant Knox here and get the quest for the workshop. It will appear at the same level as you normally start your crafting stuff, and it's sort of designed to level up as you go through crafting. But if you have been in the game for a long time and have really got your crafting built up like I have, it's kind of a huge reset, kind of frustrating. I guess your crafting level is the same, strictly speaking, but you will not be able to do the variety of crafting that you probably got used to doing. Anyway, talk to Sergeant Knox. Alright, so that starts this whole quest series. So for this particular one, there's actually a lot of quests you're going to do. I'm going to skip through these since I've actually read them and heard them when possible, but I would suggest if it's your first time through to listen to everything they say and get a better idea of the storyline they're trying to throw in along with the crafting reset. So when you're looking for your workshop, it is going to be in the very, very southern part of Protector's Enclave here.
Is this a joke? You can't do this to me.
The workshop's been losing money hand over fist since you took over. I'm sorry.
The shop's nothing without me.
It's nothing because of you. A master you may be, but you've no mind for leadership.
You can't lead the talentless to greatness. To hell's with you.
Alright, so that kicks off the story here. And then come on in here, and this is an instance area. Whereas you used to just hit N to get up all your crafting, now you need to come here until you get the Sending Stone, which is at the end of the series, and do all this crafting stuff within your workshop. It's not too bad if you're VIP, because then you can throw out your mailbox to grab some of the stuff, but if you need to buy things off the auction house, then you have to run back and forth from the mailbox to here, which is kind of a major pain. So again, I'm going to skip by a lot of this because you can listen to it and see what's going on, but I want to get to the meat of this thing here. So the first part of this is to pick whatever retainer you're going to have for your workshop. You're going to want to pick a personality or whatever that you like or can get by, because you're going to be interacting with this person quite a bit through the quests and while you're in your workshop. So this is a permanent decision. Make sure that you are careful and know who you pick. Next thing is we're going to focus on which profession you're going to focus on first. Now you will be able to do many different professions, but you're going to be a lot more limited on what you can do at a time with them. So definitely suggest that you choose whichever is going to be primarily best for your character to start with. Then take some of the other ones as like a secondary profession. So as a rogue here, and as with my other characters, I'm trying to have each of my characters focus on one of them. I'm going to pick leatherworking. You can see that they're mostly the same here, but they have condensed some of them. So alchemy is pretty much the same. Armor smithing is all of your armor. So you don't have plate smithing and mail smithing. They've been merged. Artificing is pretty much the same. Magical components and that kind of thing. Blacksmithing is going to be all of your weapons, so they combined some of that stuff together. Jewel crafting, leatherworking, and tailoring, all pretty self-explanatory, pretty much the same things. You should see mostly the same items coming from the same places. And then you'll also note there is no leadership anymore. That has been moved into another little weird thing that they're doing. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. So for this one, we're going to do leatherworking. And I want to be sure that I've decided on that. All right, so now we have our retainer. We have which profession we're going to focus on. Now we need to go accept applications. In the new crafting, you're going to hire applicants, and they're going to be craftsmen in your workshop. So a big part of this is to maybe throw some role playing into this, I guess. So you become a manager and are managing all your crafts people that you were before, but taking a more detailed involvement in it or something. Anyway, come over here to this room, and this is your master's desk where you're going to be managing your crafters and your upgrades. I'm going to go through this tutorial kind of quick here. I would suggest you read each of these and get an idea of what we're talking about. But I'm trying to get us through the tutorial here so I can talk a little bit more in detail about what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be using the new crafting. Add the new tools. This is part of the when you selected this went in your inventory, so you want to add that. Gives you a base amount of tools and ingredients that you can use. Again, the tutorial goes through here, shows you what you have. Like at low level, again, I'm taking this from a perspective of doing a ton of crafting, seeing a bunch of stuff, and kind of catching back up, because that's really what we're going to have to do with the new crafting reset, semi-reset, I guess. All right, so this next section is to go in here and go craft an item on the work table. So on this side of the workshop is going to be your work table where you're actually creating items. That's going to be separate now from where you're going to be gathering and collecting items. This will go through the new interface. It's actually a little bit better than the old one, a little more search opportunities. It's split up by levels, which is nice. And it has some favorites. If there's things you like to do, you can flag or easily search through recipes to find out who can make something or where a recipe might be. So these are the artisans that I was given since when I selected which profession I wanted to work with. This is the tool. Notice in my inventory, I had a huge amount of tools, tons of purples and blues, all kinds of great equipment that I could use to craft. Can't use any of that anymore. Now I've got these white crappy ones to start with. I'll show you how you can get a little bit of upgrades, but still we kind of got shafted when it comes to what crafting professionals and tools and assets that you got and what we end up with. So what this is going to do is talk about your crafting a little bit. So all your crafting now and gathering is going to cost you money. So that's another big thing that super sucks. So anytime you want to craft anything, it's going to cost you all the components, all the time, all the effort, all the organization, as well as money that you earn in game. Proficiency is if something's going to be able to be crafted and what your chances are of getting it, and your focus is how close you are to be getting a high quality one. You see this particular thing, since I have high level stuff, I'm going to have a really good chance of getting a +1 result instead of regular result. Your materials are going to be listed here. You have a normal set of materials and high quality materials. These high quality materials will give you a better chance of increasing your focus later. So when you are creating something, you might have a better chance of creating a better thing. Another thing that they introduced here is your morale for crafting. So you can instantly craft things, which is kind of cool, for a certain morale cost. You get 400 a day. Those will reset every day, so that's kind of cool. But it's also it keeps you capped, so you can't craft too much. But then there's also the ability to craft versus time. So I use 5 morale to get this. Got a high quality since my focus was 100%. I guess you see I got leather and some XP from that. I will collect my results, and since I created something, I'll move on with the quest here. Alright, so now I've crafted something. They're going to send me to the next part, where you're going to get your materials to craft, which is going to be your dispatch board here. Enter your dispatch board, and this is kind of where leadership went to, is all your adventures now are going to be in here to collect crap for your crafting. All right, so we'll jump through the tutorial here. Definitely read it. Make sure you know what's going on here. As you see, here's our adventure. I've got a couple that were handed to me. Again, whites. I have a bunch of purples and stuff that I used to have on this character, but they took all old crafting stuff, wiped the board clean, and you're going to have to basically start over with that stuff. And then we'll throw a tool on here, and this is basically the same thing. It's going to cost us money to go send this adventure off to get something. They're going to get it 100% of the time, and they're going to get high quality stuff, which is also nice. Problem with the gathering tasks, you cannot speed these up. You can't insta gather, so you have to send them to go. So I'm going to order them to go out and look for something. Actually, let me show you something real quick. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. One of the things they did add, which is kind of nice, is this as many as possible, or you can do one or a specific number. If you need 5 things to craft something else, you can have them craft 5 times. And if it takes 2 hours, every 2 hours, it'll make a roll to see if it kicks out another one. And is what's going to happen there. So we're just going to do one on this. Order this. And it says, all right, their order is placed. You see there's a tab down here below, and you can keep track of which gathering tasks you have going right now. So this particular one is copper ore, 9 minutes left, and you can speed these up depending on your adventures that you're getting here. So you see the adventures also have a proficiency, focus, commission, or speed, as well as a special skill. So I've seen a lot of different ones. There's good and bad ones, and then as you collect these, as you hire these, because these are going to be people you're going to hire, they'll have various bonuses. You'll get rid of the old ones as you get new ones. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so now you're sort of at the point where you can kind of craft stuff. Now it says running a workshop, you're wait for the gathering task to complete, and you're consulting your retainer. Don't consult your retainer yet. That was bugged and broke this quest. You may run into a lot of different bugs. I see that they're actually fixing some of them now, so that's good. Just do exactly what the quest says. Take your time. Don't try to skip ahead. Listen to what they say, because you don't want to get stuck doing this. All right, so let's go ahead and skip ahead to when this is done. See you in a minute. All right, well, when your crafting task is done, come over here. This is your delivery box. This is where everything will be dumped into when they're done. And open it up. Go through the tutorial here. Basically, everything will be dumped in here. As you upgrade your workshop, a couple things will happen. Is you will get more space for deliveries, so that means more of your automated tasks can last longer, whereas now this will actually fill up pretty quick. As you see, these things don't actually stack. As they're created, this will fill up really quick. You won't just keep stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking, which is kind of a bummer. But as you open up the different workshop levels, you'll get more room, and as your levels, you get higher workshop levels, you will also get higher grade applicants, which is nice. Looks like they tweaked this a little bit, which is nice. We're going to collect all, and it changed over here. So now we're going to consult our retainer. That is, you get some Tinker's manuals. So saw those. Those are going to give your crafters and adventurers more experience points if you want to use those as well. So we're going to go now speak to the material supplier. This is going to be the crafting material stuff, the things that you will use for all your crafted items and whatnot. All the base components you'll be able to buy here. A lot of the rare stuff you will be getting as you adventure around, from skill nodes, that kind of thing. Oh, it popped off. But what you're going to do is come into this main section here and come talk to the old crafting profession here, the material supplier. So we're going to talk to the person next to him real quick. Again, read this stuff yourself. First time through, so you know what's going on. Next part of the quest is I have to produce some kind of high quality of something. And it gives you a handful of other things. Like one thing from each profession type, basically. Or crafting type. So I am working on this character, so I'm going to try to do some deer leather +1. So at this point in time, we're actually going to be able to start kind of crafting in earnest here. And basically, we need to create that for this quest to continue. So now we're going to try to basically create stuff on our own. It's easiest to go into the section here, or the search area, and search through this stuff yourself. Alright, so my retainer has that list. I thought it was deer leather +1, not deer hide. Okay. And we need 2 deer skins and a sword coast tea leaves. So we could write that down and run back out to the materials supplier, or if we have done crafting previously, we are able to now trade in our old materials for new materials. So when you're talking to your retainer here, you'll see that there is a list of other things you can do. You can kind of ask some questions if you need some clarification. But for this right now, I want to exchange old professional items. This will open up all your old legacy type stuff, right? So you'll see you'll have some of these things here that you can unlock some of your legacy stuff. This is kind of cool because you can get at least one of these artisans. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and say, hey, let's go ahead and get our leatherworker, right? When you get this rare item recruitment, you can get those a couple different ways. Through your turn-ins there, you can buy them with Zen, and you can get them from trade-ins as well. When they get in your inventory, you can go ahead and find them, you double-click on it, and then you can pick which one you want. So for this one, I'm going to say I want a leatherworker because I'm going to be making some leather stuff. Alright, so this is the leatherworker that appeared. You can see it's blue quality. These stats are going to be a lot better, and they're going to have better special skills. I'll accept that, so I've got that leatherworker in here. If you want, you can open up your desk here and do manage artisans to see how much you can fit in this size of workshop. As you upgrade your workshop, you'll be able to get more and more of these. We need deerskin and sword coast tea leaves. So we can come back in here. You see there's some more trade-in stuff. And we want to trade in more professional stuff. So we're going to exchange our old materials because we want to buy new materials. But we can go through and use up our old stuff first before we use money. So you can go out to the market and use money for it, or go to the auction house and buy those ingredients with astral diamonds. Or you can exchange your old stuff in. And I would suggest exchanging your old stuff in first because it seems to be the most useful, the most use that you can get from your old stuff. You'll see a big old giant list appears and will show you what you have and what it might be worth. Some of the more rare things are worth a good amount of exchange points, basically. So I am just going to exchange a couple stacks of stuff in here since we're not actually going to be using this anymore. But now I've got 1,800. You can do the sell all if you want to. If you're just going to go ahead and do it and clean up your inventory, that's fine. I like to do it a little piecemeal to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. Alright, so now we are going to buy some of our stuff. We'll go into buy new materials. So this internal one here is a freaking mess. It is all a jumble. It's hard to search through. The one where you buy with money is actually in some kind of order. Some of the stuff is kind of grouped together so you can find it a little easier. But this one is a pain. I don't know why there isn't a search on here or something because, well, yeah, you'll see when you do this. All right, give me a second to hunt down the ingredients I need. Well, that's lucky. Oh, are they right next to each other? None of my crafters have had that yet. Some you can get stacks of 1,000, some you can get stacks of 100. Alright, so we'll go to our artisan. Now you'll see that we have our new artisan in here. With more abilities, more points, that kind of thing. And we'll go ahead and add her. Got a proficiency. Oh, now I only have an 83% focus with her. If I add a cheap one in, bam, I'm there. You'll see the minimum amount that you need, and if you get anything over, that's 100%. So you won't ever get more than 100% of anything. And if I wanted to train this one up, I could actually add this Tinker training manual to give experience to this crafter so they could level. So since I am 70, I've had a bunch of crafting at 70, that's what I'll get. But if you start at lower level, these will be lower level crafters that you'll have to level up. So it might be worth, when you get a purple or something like that, to really level them up to make sure they are the best that they can be, have the best stats. So as you see, I can order for 30 minutes. If I was to do that, I could do as many as possible. So every 30 minutes, it would make this check for 3 silver and 22 and kick them out. Or since I know I actually need 3 of them, I could do 3 and order those, but that'll take an hour and a half. So instead, I'm going to cancel out of this. And since I have 395 morale still in my shop, I can just instantly craft it. Now, it's still going to cost me money and all this stuff. It's still making this check. It's just happening instantly as I am getting morale. Once you use that up, you can't craft anymore unless you talk to your retainer and replenish your morale. You can give her money to add morale in here. So basically, you're sucking a lot more money out of you. All right, so 3 of these. There's 1, since I have 100% chance, I know I'm going to be able to do it. There's 2 and 3. So now I have 3 of those plus 1s. Let's double check, and now I can hand over the deer leather that I have created. All right, now we're going back to talk to the material supplier. All right, so turn that stuff in. We are going to talk to this one because now that I've did commissions basically to ease you into yet another mechanic for crafting, they're willing to upgrade the shop for me.
This place is really a mess. Here, take the supplies. I'll even help with the cleaning.
So now I've got that set up. We want to upgrade.
I can't stand to see her like this.
And we'll come in here to our desk. And now we'll upgrade our shop to level 2. And the cobwebs go away. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so we have upgraded to 2 now. So you will see here there is another row of items that you can have delivered. Also, when we come in here and look at our management, we have 14 now max artisans. And you should start seeing better applicants. Now, these applicants are going to come in, I think, once a day is what it appears like. A handful of applicants will come in once a day. I'm guessing that since if you're looking at our tiers here, we have white, green, blue, and purple possibilities. The lower level you are, the lower the workshop level, the less chance of a better one, and the higher the level, the better chance of a better one. So hopefully, when you get to 4, you can start getting some purple artisans. So to actually do the next 2 upgrades is a lot more involved, which some of that quest just talked about. Is what we're going to do is going to go talk to somebody out in the auction house here, and how you're going to be earning credits to upgrade your workshop. So if you thought it was easy just talking to that guy, it was, because it is no longer going to be easy. Well, it can be easy if you're willing to pay.
You know the company does not employ artisans.
But you know how well my work sells.
My answer isn't going to change. I'm sorry. Find yourself a shop and I'll be happy to sell your wares.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Alright, so a little bit more of the story unfolds as you come to talk to her.
Perhaps you could not stand.
Okay, so again, read through that if you haven't done this before. If you have, you'll get to this point, and well, if you have, I guess you're probably not even watching this anyway. So this will show your current commissions. Current commissions are things that you can make in your workshop that you then turn into her, which will increase your credits here. Your South Sea Trading Company credits. Depending on the level of your workshop will depend on the level of the things here that you can craft and create. And as you can see, I think in the quest now, it doesn't show. Let me pop it up here. We got to do a commission first. You're going to do commissions to get credit for South Sea Trading Company, and I'm not going to do all of the quests to get us to the point, but you need to know that it's going to cost you 500,000 in credits to upgrade your shop to the next time. And then from 3 to 4, it's going to cost 5 million credits. That's right, 5 million credits. So you'll need to decide on how important those few extra spots are to you, as well as getting those higher level artisans applying. That's really the key to what you're going to want to see coming from a level 4 workshop. One of the things you can do with her is... Oh, I haven't done the question. Once you fill one commission, she'll also have an option on there where you can just feed her astral diamonds to get credit. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you want to level up quick, just drop her 500k to get up to 3. And then once you upgrade the shop, 500,000 to upgrade to 3, 5 million to upgrade to 4. And you can do a combination of those as you wish. So your high quality versions, your +1 versions of everything are going to earn you more credit, as well as have better stats on them, which you might be able to sell in the auction house a little bit better. So when you're looking at your work table, we definitely don't want to use this worn round knife. You definitely want to use the best artisan, the best tool we can, as well as supplements if you're trying to make some really high-end stuff or some masterwork here or something like that. Also, we're going to want to keep your delivery box full as possible at all times. So figure out what you want to make. Come in here and see what you want to make and start getting these guys working. You can see these are separated not by what profession you're doing, but what material you're looking for. So you can do all, there's stone, metal, wood, cloth or textiles, leather, bone, and other substances. If you're already leveled up, you'll probably want to jump up here so you can look at what am I looking at for maybe high-end metals or something. You can come look down here. Like I know, need a bunch of adamantine ore. For leather crafting, probably going to need a bunch of leather. So let's go ahead and say, let's get somebody out looking for some drake hide. We'll just send them out. See, they've got a 53% chance. Man, that's just terrible, isn't it? So instead of sending them, let's go ahead and trade in some of our old stuff to get some new stuff.
Anything at all?
So I'm going to exchange some old assets here. Let's see, here's some purples. I know that you need 200,000 to get the best asset, so I'm just going to turn in some of these old ones here. These can also be turned into your guild if you don't want to use them for crafting. Heard a lot of people kind of say, all right, we'll just give up on this. I hope you don't, because it's going to make things a lot more rare, but understand this can be very frustrating. All right, so we got 200,000 in there by trading in a bunch of my old stuff. We'll come in here and we'll buy a new asset. So you see I got a professions artisan here, recruitment, rare, or epic might come from this. So we're going to buy that. You see it appeared in my inventory here. Hopefully we can get a rare, right? So for this one, I want to make sure I get high quality components. So instead of picking a leather worker, I'm going to actually recruit an adventurer. Awesome. So we got lucked out and got a purple one here. You can see the stats are significantly better. It is going to be a little bit more expensive to have this adventurer going out to do things, but it'll be quick and very proficient in doing so. So I'm going to accept that one, but I also want to make sure I have decent items for them to use. So we'll come in here and... there's also legendary tools. There's legendary assets you can trade in. There's a bunch of ways you can exchange your old stuff. But it's frustrating to see that you can exchange your old stuff that was purple, and you only have a chance to get purple back. Another thing that you can do, I guess you could probably mess with some of this, is go to the Zen market, is in the profession stuff here. Oh, under items. So under items, professions, you can see that there are booster packs. There's a few more things you can get. And then you can buy artisans for Zen as well here. So what you're really going to want to do is start off with lower level tasks. Kind of the cheapest, easiest things that you can do is go into here and select somebody. Select a task, something that you need a material you're going to need for the items that you're going to make for your credit. So for doing that, you're going to want to queue these up and have them keep on running. That way you can earn the credit, and you can move it over here. Something to keep in mind, you'll only be able to have 3 tasks at a time, and your commission here will take your money away. So if you run out of commission, or you run out of room, or run out of money, or run out of room, you'll stop building things or making things. That'll drop them off in here, as well as anything crafted in here will also go to your delivery box. So queue those things up and just have them running. So if I was going to do this deer leather, we'd go ahead and queue up this, and then order it, and then just do as many as possible. So you can see this one is now the order is placed. There is a crafter working for that. If I open this up, I've got an order going, tells me how long I could finish it, because this is able to be finished. This time will not matter if there's 5 seconds left. You'll still spend whatever the finish now amount is. So it's best just to leave it or cancel it. But this way you can see what's running and how often it will repeat. As you can see, it reserves a spot in the delivery box, so it knows something's going to be in there. So if you have 6 things queued, the first row will be full right away to start with. So if I was to come over here and queue up some animal hide here, as many as possible, have them just keep ordering them. You can see that person goes out and starts to make it. Now I've got 3 in here, or 2 in here, and that'll continue that way. That is the crash course in getting crafting done. So you're going to need to manage your recruits from the office. You need to keep these guys going at your dispatch board so you can keep ingredients coming. So then you could use your work table to make your commissions so you can upgrade your workshop if you don't pay for it. Otherwise, figure out the things you might want to craft, your character might need, or the things you might want to sell, and set up those multiple things so they're kind of working in the background while you're adventuring around. But remember to always come back here and clean out that delivery box frequently. Otherwise, they will stop crafting for you. So on initially looking at this, you think that, oh, I could just set and forget. You're still going to be in here managing it every couple hours, just like the old crafting. There's just a lot more that you might have to do if you change what you're crafting. If you're crafting one specific thing and just kicking out an assembly line, it might be a little bit easier. Otherwise, it seems to be much more management and more expense for getting the same stuff. Anyway, I will jump back in here. I'll talk about some specifics with some of the other crafting stuff once I figure out the tips and tricks to it. I'll get those out to you guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and become a patron. And until next time, play smarter, not harder.